Hello, my
Hey,
old
hey,
friend.
everybody. How's it going?
It's getting chilly.
Yeah, it is. I hate it. I hate the weather right now.
I like fall. I don't like when it's this like we barely had fall weather,
Yeah,
but we ain't talking about that
yeah,
here.
yeah, it's true. Well, with the fall comes Thanksgiving, which is this week, which is what we are doing this show. We're touching on it a little bit. We're not doing the whole show on it, I
Yeah,
guess.
not really. We're really not. We're talking
Yeah,
more about Native American, uh, different, their mythology beliefs, different things that happened on this land that you're not taught about in school. So,
right. Hail Robert Shepard. We got Crazy Matt in the house. And we got Mo Biggs in the house.
yeah,
Thanks for joining us, guys.
I hope the chat really likes to talk on this one because it's interesting. It seems like a lot of things that we've been into or know of, a lot of people in CG know of about different things of histories and myths, and so I'd be
Yeah,
really cool. Some they might be able to teach us some stuff that we
yeah,
haven't heard.
maybe.
Um, you know.
Yeah, talking a little bit about this stuff with I think Crazy Mad in my draw stream last week.
Oh, you did.
You know, yeah, he's very interested in some of that stuff. So it sounded like, at least, is that right, Crazy Mad? Respond in the chat if so. But yeah, it's fun to talk about this kind of stuff. Murph and I are very much into um, you know some of the myths and legends, and of course you've heard about our book, The Ballad of the Celestials. A lot of people in my draw stream wanted to know about the characters in that draw stream, and so as I was drawing them, I was explaining some of their attributes, um, some of their strong points, I guess. I didn't go
Personalities.
real deep. What's that?
Personalities.
Yeah, a little bit. And yeah, Crazy Mad said that is correct. So there you go. And we just got into some things. He said, "Hey, are they going to be riding dinosaurs?" And I was like, "Well, they could be. Yes. I mean, that's not something out of the realm of possibility at all, right? Since you're the
No,
writer."
yeah, that's. Hey, mom. No,
Hey, hey,
that's not out
Barb,
of
how you
the
doing?
that's not out of the possibility at all. The
Yeah.
interesting thing is if you look about theories back in the day, there's this theory. So we're going off here a little bit. Not saying America, but
Here we go.
there's this theory that people lived longer a couple ages ago because uh, the Earth was more condensed with the oxygen. We've seen
Mm,
that oxygen
right.
heals people. A lot of the sports
Well,
athletes, that's what they're doing.
they thought it was
And,
like a terrarium, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
with
Yep.
lizards, will continue to grow with how long they live.
Yeah.
So if they lived for 100 years, they could easily get that size. See, this is what people get wrong. They weren't dinosaurs, they were dragons. And Asians, Asian history has people that were the dragon, like, you know what I mean? There was a person for the
Hey,
king.
Jim.
Yeah, Mama
Yeah.
Murphy.
Mama Murphy.
Mama
That's a good
Murphy.
way to. That's what we should call her from now on.
Yeah, that's
Mama
fine.
Murphy.
I'm used to always
That's
calling her
good.
Barb. Everyone would always call her Barb. So because
You
my
don't
mom
call your
was a
mom by
teacher.
your first name, man.
No,
What's wrong with you?
I didn't put ever because she was a teacher, not in my school district, but all the teachers then knew her, and
I
so
loved how
like
you
I was,
stuttered when I called you out. That was great.
I stuttered.
You
That's awesome. Oh, I don't
That's right.
call
It's
my
not how
mom
you talk
Barb.
to your mama, boy. That's
Well,
not how it's
here,
done.
here's the her side of the family has a nickname for her. They call her Drunk Barb. It's rare occasions, but
Oh, yikes. Okay,
you,
we don't
oh,
need
you should stop.
none of the
Yeah.
ugly family history. We're going into like, yeah, we're going into some Thanksgiving stuff. And with
Yeah.
Thanksgiving comes ugly family history, right? I mean, that's the way it works.
My
Hail
parents are
24
coming
Eyes,
in
how you
too.
doing?
My parents are coming in
Or
on
are they?
Thanksgiving, so this will be
Well, good luck with
fresh.
that, man.
I
Good luck
know.
explaining that one. She's gonna be like, "What the hell? You just told a million people, or five in the chat, actually." um, so everybody, our show, we just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Native Americans, and we're in Ohio. We talk about Ohio. Not ashamed to talk about that a little bit. I don't think it doxes us too bad.
Why would you
But in
be
this,
ashamed to talk about Ohio?
Yeah, well, I've been talking about Ohio in different streams. It comes out like
Oh,
everybody I run across in CG is like in Ohio, and we've got several
yeah.
guys. And so, because of that, I've been saying, hey, we ought to have like an Ohio hangout, a CG Ohio hang, where we all meet up somewhere and I
That
don't
would be
know.
cool.
Yeah, just find a
That would
place
be.
that we could all meet up and chill, talk, get to know each other a little bit, have some fun, and um, you know, just have a good time. So anyway, yeah, crazy mad. He's like OH. See, he's one of
Mhm.
them.
No.
Yeah, Jim Cox says whoop him. I have to put the whooping on you all the time, so kind of get tired of it. It's like I'm your dad or something. Your surrogate dad in Ohio because your dad's in Pennsylvania.
I mean, it's less on me and more on you that you're just a cranky. Like you literally will yell at kids walking on your lawn. There's nothing more. Like,
only
and
if they're letting their dog and cat,
so
go on my lawn. Other than that, I
just
don't
like
care.
I let something out about my mom, I let something out about you. Is when he yells at the kids, Derek doesn't go like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Or he takes a deep breath first, and he goes, "Hey, boys, get off my lawn!" Like it's not his regular voice. It's not like
You don't have the voice for it. You got to have that
no,
low.
I don't have the voice.
You got to get the dad voice, man. It's the
Yeah.
dad voice. So, 24 Eyes. I'm from Dayton originally, and it looks like Washington now. Wow. Jeesh, man. Yeah, look at this. Jim Cox
Yeah.
from Youngstown. See what I mean? There's a lot of guys from Ohio. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy how many were in here. But it'd be great to meet with some people. Hail all. Hail,
Yeah.
good stuff, Comic Skater. We are
We need to show
Ohio
our sign-up
survivors.
page. We're terrible about.
I'm trying to say hi to the chat real quick as they come in. So we're Ohio survivors. That's what Jim Cox says, which is really funny. Yeah, well, we're still surviving. Yep, good stuff, Cincinnati, man. So that's what I mean. We have to go. We have to go meet up with some people. That'll be great times.
We need a name. You know how like they have bogans for everyone in Australia? We need
Yeah.
a name.
It ain't gonna be the Buckeyes.
No.
We're gonna come up with a different name than that.
I have to think of something.
Yeah. So speaking of Ohio, hail, good stuff, Comics Gator. Yep. Intense Webs, thanks for coming back. Good to see you.
Intense Webs, are you from Ohio?
Just dox yourself right now. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
I mean, Ohio's a huge place. There's no one who wants to like come after us.
Yeah, it's true. We're crazy. It's where all the serial killers are.
I didn't know.
So nobody wants to come after them.
Man,
do you hear me? It's where all the serial killers are from.
The
Ohio Bros. There you go, Ohio
bad.
Bros. That isn't bad. Leave it to Mo. Yeah. So okay, let's share our page real quick. If you guys haven't signed up for our comic book Ballad of the Celestials, it is on Indiegogo at this time. Put this up on here real quick. The link is in the pinned part of the chat at the top. Follow that link and you can sign up on the page. One thing we're going to end up doing, we're going to be emailing very soon within the next couple weeks an update, just to let everybody know exactly where we are. If you really want kind of an update right now, we are waiting on a couple colored pages, or a couple pages to be colored. We have the same colorist as Kimasabi, and so we're waiting a little bit, but it's not. We haven't been waiting that long. Unfortunately, we're not like him.
That's not the only thing we're working on.
Well, working on the cover.
The main cover.
The main cover. Intense Webs is Houston. Nice, man. That's great. Getting you guys from everywhere. I love it. Mo Big said, thanks for pinning the link so I don't have to do anything. You are welcome, sir. Yeah, so sign up if you haven't signed up. Or if you're waiting to sign up, please let us know why you're waiting to sign up so that we can help you out.
Well, I think we need to snazz it. I think because we're waiting on some things to get color, we can snazz this up a little bit.
Well, the truth is, all the art is done except for the cover. So really, once we get some pages colored, we're just doing that to be able to promote some new stuff. But the rest of the pages will be colored. That's why we are going on Indiegogo, and to letter the comic and get it printed. And so those three things. But the good thing is the art and the inking are done. So if you guys want to know the real status of the book, that's where it's at. So really, we're gonna we have to draw and ink the cover, get it colored, and then get it ready for print.
And with us, we always wanted to, because just thinking of like fans of anything, like you want to get the product as quick as you can. And now that this is a kind of a big thing that people are upset that they have to wait like a year or even more. We really want to get it out there when we say, and because we've heard so horror stories of like, this is when it's supposed to come out and not. So we really, we're really trying to get this to where we can get it out as quick as we can.
Yeah, man. I listened to Leroy's chat on Saturday. I don't know if you caught that. There was a lot of hurt feelings in there, and it's I feel it. I feel for those people. I know I've backed some books that I haven't received yet. It's understandable. Some of the guys I've backed, they are continuously updating me, so I know there's work being done, and I know that they are actually doing their best to get that product out. And then other guys I haven't heard from, so I really don't know. But for the most part, the guys that I have backed, I would say probably 95% of them are getting that book ready. And so they've run into like printing problems, things like that. So I can always forgive that kind of thing.
Anything that I've bought, it might have went a little later than what they said, but nothing does that. Nothing like a year. Like I can't imagine waiting like 3 months.
The only thing I do worry about is how slow some of these companies are, because they're using the excuse for COVID to say, oh, we're slowed down, we can't ship as quick as we used to. And it really scares me to rely on some of these companies, because I know that I'll have that product there, but will they have the product? You know what I mean? I've heard, Joe Catapano, he opened up his books and realized that they weren't up to snuff. I know that a few other guys that I've read on their updates, they were waiting for the update and they opened it up. I think, who was it recently? The Embrace. They got a shipment back from the printer and it wasn't up to snuff. And I'm like, that's what scares me, is worried about other people. So it's that relying on.
I think you got multiple things going. I mean, people are spending their hard-earned money and not getting anything right away.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Because of COVID, people have more downtime, and it's like, oh, I would love to read and get into something. So you have that. Then
so
the people
Jim,
that are making like the hundreds and millions of dollars, they're taking long, and to them, it's like, you guys are making all this money. Yeah. So I understand that too. I understand it all. Yeah. I've been a customer.
I get it.
And been pissed.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see how it's all going to pan out. But for us, I just want to plug away at it and get it out. And here's what I don't want to do. We're not going to campaign if we don't have the book ready. So if the art and the inking isn't done, I don't think we ought to campaign. I don't think it's something we ought to push until it's ready, because I don't think that's fair to people. So now I'll tell people we're working on it. I'll show artwork.
Yeah, our goal is for January, but that might change.
I'm going to keep people going. I'm going to be like, look, we are in book 2, like after we get done with this, and it's going to continue. The momentum, I hope, picks up, but there will be no second campaign unless our art is finished. You know what I mean?
Well, kind of, because we're already 15 minutes. We're terrible with time.
Yeah. No, I think this is good. First 15 minutes is good.
Kind of something to get back into what we're talking about, with the, the history of our land and Native Americans. One thing that I was kind of reading the last couple of days, I kind of really got into like there's a lot of like monsters they have in their culture. And that's one thing that I realized with our first book. We don't really have that. And I kind of wish we did.
Wait, what do you mean?
We're going to have it down the line. But I mean, we have a lot of, we have a lot of those, I don't want to say tropes, but if you're looking for something in mythology, you're definitely getting like a small war scene, you're getting battles, you're getting creatures.
Sure.
But seeing like, oh, that's the one. Okay. So one thing that I thought was awesome is that they made Windigo. That's a Native American thing. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was theirs.
I did know that. Yes.
And
which ties into Canada too, because there's a lot of native tribes clear up in Canada.
Sure,
so
yeah, all of North America.
Yep.
And you know what? I always liked him in the X-Men, but he looks crappy compared to some of the art. Like that thing is scary.
Yeah.
Like what the Wendigo's supposed to look like.
Oh yeah, it's a creepy monster. Yeah, it really is. Skinwalkers are crazy too. You know? Skinwalkers are crazy too. That's an Indian thing too.
The weird thing is all of their monsters eat people. They're like, they just want to eat.
Yeah. There's been some really intense Skinwalker stories, and I don't want to get into that too much because that's not really where we were going. But it is, it's part of their myth and legend thing. The Skinwalker thing is very feared. Like that is an intense thing. They really wholeheartedly believe in that stuff.
Well, they have like
100 words for Bigfoot.
like 100 things that they would do, or you mean descriptive names for them? Like different tribes would have different names for a Bigfoot, like a Windigo.
Oh, I'm sure different tribes would have different names. I'm sure about that. But yeah. So, just in Ohio alone, we have at least 9 different tribes. There's probably even more, but these are like the main tribes that they talk about. Hey, Eric, hey, nice of you to join us, man.
Hey,
thanks a lot. But yeah, so a lot of different tribes in Ohio, and it's kind of crazy how much history is here in Ohio. Tecumseh was a big part of history here too, and those are big historical figures, which is really cool to think about. But there were around 70 burial mounds around Ohio. And so just some facts I'm spitting out here. And in those burial mounds, there's a lot of question as to what's actually in those burial mounds.
Yeah, they haven't touched
them. So, yeah, right.
Because they're considered sacred. That's why there are people who don't believe that's what they are.
Yeah. It's weird because we actually have a couple hills right next to where I work. And it's been documented that those are Indian burial mounds. And
they know,
which is kind of interesting. Yeah, they know they are. Yeah, it's a historical thing. And of course, then my work has like ghost stories from it. But it's kind of funny how that all flows together. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, creepy and interesting. Because farmers farm right over it.
Native Americans have like a female swamp thing.
Oh yeah.
But all she does is weep and wallow because I guess she couldn't have kids. But I saw online, man, that's one of the greatest things online. So many people are funny. They said that the female swamp thing was crying because Swamp Thing didn't care about her feelings.
That's ridiculous.
I couldn't even get it out because that's just hilarious.
Oh man, that's funny, man.
And they would like take babies away too because they couldn't have babies. That was another
creepy thing. Well, it's funny. Some of the myths and legends, man, are just ridiculous. There's a lot of like sightings, like around where I live, it's all Bigfoot sightings. The road I live half a mile from a road that is very well known and has had people like from TV shows show up here. To search for, they're squatchers. And you would like just living around here. I've heard stories, but nothing big. These guys are acting like it is big mythology, man.
Dude, Kaylin would watch the Bigfoot show, which I just thought was ridiculous.
Yeah, I liked it.
I don't think believing in Bigfoot is ridiculous, but having a show for it, and I'll never forget.
Yeah,
that one guy that's loopy on it. Like the one episode I watch, he talks about that he saw a duck on a lake, and a Bigfoot was under the water. I don't know how he knew this. And then he grabbed the duck and ate the duck underwater. And it's like,
yeah, he just grabbed it like a alligator or something, you know.
Yeah, and he's just eating
like,
it underwater. So I guess
but he could tell.
I guess
Well,
they
it's
have
funny because
gills,
everything that
too.
happened, every noise in the woods, he would always go, "That's a squatch."
Yeah,
It's getting squatchy out here. Hey, Rich, how you doing, man? Thanks for showing up.
Oh,
yeah, that's hilarious, man. That's good stuff. I like it. I mean, you know, that's fun. It's fun for me. When I had the kids out in the woods, you know, they go hunting now and stuff. But when we would go hiking, it's not really. I mean, it's a good time, but I would get ahead of them or something, and then I would howl like they would do on that show. You know, that you know, that real guttural noise they would make. And the kids, I scared them half to death several times. But you know, that's what a good father should do whenever they take their kids in the woods.
Well, that's why there's all these
Get
stories.
out of
They
your
were telling
kids.
their kids not to mess around because there's scary things out there. This is what all these creatures are about. They're always snagging children.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's almost like we just want to scare the shit out of each other all the time.
It's fun.
Although there is, you know, the wind whistling in the trees does get a little creepy after, you know, every now and then.
I think the thing about the woods is depending on the weather, you can really feel it, like whether it's heat or cold.
But let me just tell you, you are not somebody to talk to about the country. I took you
the
out.
Woods and country are totally different. The woods and country
in open land, man, open fields. We were going to pick up some barbecue out in BFE, and guess what? Guess who freaks out? Oh my gosh, this is so creepy! Just being out in the open fields, like there's just us on the road, nobody else.
Because we live in Ohio,
and you thought it was the
with
scariest
all the
thing in the
serial
world.
Killers.
I laughed my butt off, dude. You were so scared to be out in the open.
I wasn't scared.
Like,
it's very creepy when all you can see is darkness before you. It's like
it was just rolling hills.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm thinking there's ghosts or demons. I'm thinking there's like a band of coyotes. Like they'll take you down. There's not just one of them. You know what I mean?
We were in a car.
No, shut up.
You think they're just going to come out of nowhere? Well, look at those guys. They have barbecue. Jump on them now.
You were telling me the city was scarier, and I was like, no, I think the country's way scarier than the city is.
Intense webs. Laugh out loud. Lots of serial killers in Ohio makes me feel safe.
A lot of the big name serial killers are from Ohio. So, if there was an Avengers
serial killers are known to come from Ohio.
If there was an Avengers team of serial killers, the Avenger Tower would be in Ohio. Like
it's probably true. It's probably true. Yeah, that's probably truth. Unfortunately. So, let's talk about some stuff. You guys know about the Serpent Mound in Ohio?
I mean,
have you guys heard of the Serpent Mound?
That, right?
Yeah. So woods have crazy killers and Bigfoots, and open fields have UFOs and random sniper attacks. Yeah, you're probably right, man. You get those hunters out there, man, with those rifles.
Hey,
they can shoot
you ever
for
watch
miles.
Unsolved Mysteries? There's tons of stuff that happened in the country.
It's true.
On that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to dispute that at all. I'm just going to say
I'm losing you. Did we lose you? Your Wi-Fi might be acting up. And I don't know what you are going to go to next. Well, chat, maybe you could save me. Anybody got Washington has a good amount of what? I don't know. Sniper in the open field. Hail Mo Biggs. But okay, so we lost Derek for a little bit. I'm trying to think. Oh, you coming back? You back? Talking about the Serpent Mound? Did we talk about something we're not supposed to? Getting. What do you mean he got sniped? Like, did it run after him? Did it attack him? Like, are these big Bigfoot's armed now with guns that when, hunters are taken, they have their weapons and their. I wish I could control the chat. I'll have to do it from my phone. So Ohio's Bigfoot.
Hey, you guys there?
Yeah, you went out.
Dude, my phone, I think it was my phone. It just like lost connection somehow.
I've gotten
so now we're talking about Ohio's Bigfoot's known as the grass man. What's he say? What's Jim say? Yeah, I think the PNW is where serial killers go to hide. The PNW. What is the PNW? Help us out, Jim. Yeah, that's where most sightings are, 24 eyes. Bigfoots are cousins to the human race. Yeah. And Bigfoots have other big parts you need to worry about. That is true.
Well, someone said that a Bigfoot sniped their uncle, and I'm like, well, how does a Bigfoot snipe? What's it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dude.
Like, what's it?
My uncle was sniped in an open field by a Bigfoot.
What does that mean?
Was it like he farted when he went by or something? Like knocked him out?
I said that they were.
Or did he throw something at him?
I said, what are they eating hunters and then taking their guns and using them to kill people?
Oh, well, they could. He goes, nah, Bigfoot in an open field with a high-powered rifle murked my uncle's full ass.
That's awesome.
Wow, dude. Okay. Awesome. Yikes. I hope he was okay.
So wait. So
were we laughing at his uncle dying? I hope not.
Oh, that's what he's saying? His uncle died?
I hope not.
I mean, snipe can mean so many different things. Like,
yeah, it could.
So here's the thing, though. So let's say Bigfoots are 100% real. Okay?
Okay.
Now, don't you think there would have been Native American stories of them killing them and then, like, having their fur or
skins,
skin or
furs,
whatever?
yeah, bones, yeah, you would think all that would happen unless they think they're like
sacred,
like sacred people, sacred species. Harry and the Hendersons. Oh my gosh, yes, such an old movie. I used to love that movie when I was younger, though.
I was little when I saw. I was scared of him.
Yeah. Did you ever wonder why they took Harry, the Bigfoot Harry, and turned him into the Slim Jim creature? You know, did you ever notice that it's like they took that creature and made him ugly now in the commercials? But it looks like they used the same Harry and the Hendersons outfit. They just switched it up and made it real ugly.
Well,
which I think is kind of funny
because it's famous. I mean,
yeah. Ohio sounds like a really funny place or fun place.
Yeah, Ohio's not bad.
I don't know if it's that fun, man. I think that's why we get people killing each other here.
I think Columbus is fun.
Oh, there's some good parts to it, though. So, have you guys ever been to the Serpent Mound, seen the Serpent Mound, know what the Serpent Mound is?
I haven't yet. I was actually going to try to go with my parents this Thanksgiving, but I think the temperature might just be too cold to go and do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that with them. Not out in the cold, because you got to walk a little bit. But there are some great pics if I can show it.
Yeah, you wanted to actually talk. What do you think it means? Because there's a lot of different thoughts on what the point of having that is. Because that had to take a good amount of work. I mean, it's a big to do. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Are you going to show the picture? Or am I going to keep?
Yes, I'm going to. I had to get it to open up. It seems kind of small compared to what I want too. So let me get there. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yeah, Rich. Roach Balls makes a good point that the natives had tons of folklore of Sasquatch, Windigo, and giants. And yeah, we'll get to the giants too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a bigger picture.
Did you get the smallest picture?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, like it won't let me zoom in.
It might be.
But you get the idea. You get the idea of what it is. I mean, see the head of the serpent here, and it winds all the way down to a coiled tail. And yeah, I mean, yeah, there's tons of folklore of Sasquatch, Windigo, and giants. That's true. And there's a lot of like giant mythology surrounding the Serpent Mound here in Ohio, which is why we're kind of talking about it.
And just America in general too, outside of.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of weird how, giants have kind of been covered up a little bit, but we'll get into the giant piece in a minute. But some people believe that the egg in the serpent's mouth is an egg, actually, or they believe it could be the eye of the serpent, or it's just an open mouth of the serpent. So there's a lot of thoughts on what that could mean.
Or it's two different things that they just connected. Two different tribes mean two different things.
Well, that's true too. There's a lot of disagreeing between the scholars on who built the mound, which is kind of weird to think about because, here it is in the ground, and they've done carbon dating on it. They've taken it clear back to the time of like Aristotle being alive, which very interesting to think about. But then you have other people who are disputing that, saying it's actually newer than that, and it's really not like that at all. So yes, Jim, I'm going to bring up some photos. The problem is I was having trouble finding the photos that I wanted to share. They're not getting big enough.
Everyone has to run to their TV and put their one eye.
I know, it's really crazy, man. Like I thought there would be better photos of this. Let me see if I can get.
Just put an HD when you Google it, and you'll have a bigger picture.
Oh, maybe. I cannot get it to come up the way I want it to.
What are you looking for?
Oh, this one's a good one to share. So let's try to this. Let me try this one.
Dude, I swear, if it's small again, I'm gonna lose it and be on the floor.
Hang on a minute. For some reason it wouldn't let me share. So go to the Chrome tab. Let me see here.
I thought this would be good for a chat because I thought a lot of people would. Yeah, that's a good picture.
Yeah, so this is it's a black and white picture,
and
but
it's bigger than
this
you
is
think.
It
you
is.
know what I mean? It's much bigger than what you would perceive that to be.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor.
Yeah.
Can you see my cursor? Yeah, so here's the mouth or the egg, the mouth of the snake, and it winds, and then there's like an opening in the mouth of the snake, if that is the mouth with the egg, and it winds all the way down. Yeah, so it winds around here and then coils at the end. And what they're saying is the egg lines up with the summer solstice, directly in line with it. So the sun will set or rise. I can't remember. It's the sunrise where the egg is. And then different times of the year in each of these winding pieces of the snake lines up with different equinoxes or different moon rising and settings as well. And so they're saying there's a lot of different meanings of it, and it's interesting. So to me, Native Americans could have done this. I don't want to dispute whether they could have done it. I just wonder who did actually do it, and how would they have the knowledge to come up with the equinoxes and be that accurate?
Well,
I think that's the question.
That's one of the oldest things of all the cultures, knowing the moon phases and the planets. And
now Crazy Mad says aliens. I don't know if I can believe in the alien piece. I don't know if I believe that piece of it. I don't know if I want to go there. Giants are just as far-fetched, but
no, giants aren't as far-fetched as aliens.
Well, I feel like giants. That's what I was going to say. Is giants? There's a little more evidence to giants.
A little more evidence than aliens? Yeah, a lot more.
Well,
they got no spaceship.
There are evidence. There are historical evidences of giants, but they've been swept under the rug. And so some of these things, it's really hard to follow because you don't really know.
I mean, we have the NBA, Derek. It's easy.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So let me go into Norsemen, probably. Yeah, I mean, what's weird is the Norsemen also have giants in their mythology.
Everyone does.
Yeah, so giants are all over the earth in mythology, which is pretty interesting to think about. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is one of the theories of the Serpent Mound and why it was built was that giants actually enslaved the natives and had them build the mound for them. And the giants are the ones who had all of the technology and the know-how of why it would line up with all the solstices and astronomical
Events.
what would you call that? Events. Yeah, there you go. So Rich says plenty of evidence of UFOs, but no evidence of aliens.
Good point. I will agree with
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah,
agree
there
with
is.
that. Yes.
That is true. Which makes you
But
wonder.
again-
I mean, it just makes you wonder that. But that's for another day.
I mean, UFO, it's just unidentified. Any culture could
Yeah.
have a vehicle that we don't know about, and that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So one of the things that we were wanting to look at was with the giants and the evidence of the giants. What are the findings? Have you guys ever witnessed anything with this? We love to think that there's some giants in the earth. I think it's kind of fun to think about, even if it may not be real, even if it's a hoax, even if you think it's very real. So whatever end of that spectrum you on.
Wait a minute, time out. When you say giants in the earth, are you talking about them being buried, or are you talking about that there's
On
an
the earth.
earth inside the earth and they're living there?
No, I mean on the earth. I mean that they used to live here, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
So, kind of like dinosaurs were on the earth, and then we have evidence of bones, but what they look like, what were they, what were they doing? So it's just funny. And I want to kind of go into that a little bit. So every old ass dusty culture has giants in their myth and folklore. It's true. They really do. And so
there.
yeah, and I really believe there's a reason for that, but I think we should look into it a little bit. One thing that I was doing was looking at the top 10 giant discoveries in North America. And so if you guys have ever looked at anything like this, it's pretty cool.
Well, this concludes Canada.
They don't go into too much. It said North America, but I think they mean United States, to be honest.
I mean, honestly, who cares about Canada?
Whoa, I'm sharing the big one first. Let's do the top 4. Just in the top 4.
Thing. Spoiler alert.
That's okay. So just in the top 4, they talk about a 9-foot 2-inch skeleton and other 7-foot 8-foot examples off the coast of California that were uncovered.
Well, here
and
I want everyone to realize this though too.
Okay.
So culturally now. Oh, okay. I can't say that for legit, but at least in America, normal height right now is like 6 foot. Like in Abraham Lincoln's day, which is not that long ago, average was like 5'2" to 5'4" for a man. So
yeah, it's true.
When you're looking at these giants, you're looking at a regular human being shorter than what we are now. So it's even a greater disparity.
Yeah, and I also wanted to show, I'll share that as well. Share this quote.
Yeah, I always thought this was awesome.
Can you see it?
Yeah, you can see this perfect. Abraham
Okay,
Lincoln.
so yeah, the eyes of that species of extinct giant whose bones fill the mounds of America have gazed on Niagara as our eyes do now. Abraham Lincoln said this.
People weren't shocked by it. People were like, oh yeah, we know what he's talking about.
Yeah. And so he said this in a speech in public.
As president.
Yeah, as president, he said this. And so it just makes you wonder what was known at that time, the time of Civil War and all that. What did they know about giants at all in the earth? Was it a thing, or did they just knew they used to exist, but Maybe they're extinct at that time. Who knows? But it's definitely something to think about, regardless of why he would put that in there. Some people
Well,
think that
though,
he,
now this is a hypothesis. Could it
yeah,
be because back then, you know, their lives were more, I want to say, boring, where
sure.
you're gonna have conversations. You would think they would know more Native American stories than even we do now.
Oh, I'm sure they would. Yeah.
So I wonder if this goes to the whole redheaded white raced people that they fought and
Yeah.
that
I
they
mean, it very well
exploited.
could. Yeah, you just never know. But I think it's very interesting. It's neat to think about, and it's
Yeah.
something that makes you stop and go, "Wow, is this? Why does mythology exist in the first place in our Earth? You know, around the world, why do cultures have mythology? And is there any truth to it? I think that's the next question. So we can
And
know that culture can come up with mythology, but why and how? What do they? How do they imagine these things? You know, I think that's really an interesting question.
and to me, with anything with mythology and storytelling, there's always some truth. Like you can't make up
Yeah,
a shape you've never seen. You know what I mean? Like everyone who's in CG is some type of artist. You'd realize that it's always coming from something. There's never like an
yeah,
idea out of nowhere. Everything always has something. You know
right.
what I mean? So to think of that, you have to have some truth to be
Yeah,
coming up with these ideas.
yep.
Is he
So
giving us a salute there? Like,
nah, his so it says his hands are crossed and fingers are over his right eye. It's just the way his head laid. So this place is in the Ozark Caves in Arkansas. They had nearly a 10-foot skeleton with huge skulls next to it.
did you look at the chat?
Where?
Who said it? Uh, oh yeah, it was Crazy Mad that they knew they were real. The Giants. They only have 3 teeth and a jaw. I've never heard that. Crazy Mad. What are you
Well,
talking about?
Gigantopithecus was real. They only have like 3 teeth and a jawbone.
Who?
Yeah.
Who are
So
they?
Gigantopithecus was
What?
real. They don't.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
So is Gigantopithecus a like a humanoid, or is it a different animal?
I don't understand
I'm
though
not real sure.
what they're saying with the jawbone. We have jawbones. What's the? Do they not have top teeth? There's just a
Well,
jaw.
I got to know if it's human or not. Is he talking about a human-like being, or is it a different animal?
Oh, that's a good point. You're right. I was
Yeah.
thinking it was a human too.
So a lot of myths and culture talk about our constant battles with them because they were dickheads. You know, Rich, that's true though. That is true. So like I said, the Indian mound, the Serpent mound, they're saying it was created because they enslaved the natives. So yeah, they fought with them all the time. It's in the Bible too. They talk about them fighting giants in the Bible as well. It's kind of interesting how it all just kind of,
Look at the
there's
pyramid
similar
art.
history. Yeah.
They're
Um,
giants that aren't working. The people
it's
that are working
true.
are way
Yes.
smaller.
Yeah. Um, and most of the stories are about conflict. Yes, that's true. They are.
Well,
There was
this
always some
story, yeah.
unrest around the giants,
It's always
which,
toil.
yeah, that's right. Um, okay, so let's go back to this page. Let me go back here. And so 10-foot giant. The next one in Rancho, California, Lompoc Rancho, California, in 1819, they found a 12-foot skeleton.
Man.
12 feet.
And when you
That's
think of that too, you're just
that's
thinking of his
two of
height.
me on top of each other.
Oh God, I couldn't stand that. That'd be the worst thing ever, two of you. But
I think
the
it'd be
funny
great.
thing is when you think of giant, you think of height. Like, how big was that man's hands?
Oh yeah. Um,
Like Andre
I
the Giant was
saw.
only 8 foot, and his
So
hands like the size
there
of a
were
person's skull.
there were two giants in Ohio that they talk about that were kind of famous. They were like circus performers back in the day, and they were only like 7.5 feet or something like
Yeah.
that. They weren't even as big as like Andre the Giant, I don't think. And but they were considered giant in those times, and they show these old pictures, these guys taking pictures beside them, you know, because it was a
Yeah.
thing to go and get pictures with them. But when you look at it, it's like, man, they seem so incredibly large. Like these people had to build their own special house to have higher ceilings a 8-foot doorway to walk in, and they had to have special furniture made for these people.
Well, do you know what Andre the Giant did when he was on the road to relieve himself to go number 2? What he had to do?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
He had to crap into the shower, and then have the shower run hot water so it would go down that drain.
Oh my gosh.
You couldn't sit on a toilet.
That's like a freaking elephant taking a dump in your yard, man. I mean, really though, that would be hell.
It had to suck for him, man. Like,
yeah, it did. I feel for that. So it's a 9 to 10 foot tall ape that lived during human times, and that's all they have of the fossil record is 3 teeth and a jawbone. So
okay, so you weren't saying that.
Yeah, Gigantopithecus was an ape-like creature. Yeah,
that's the only thing we have, and they go off of that. They're 8 feet. Well, I guess your teeth.
Well, with the size of jawbone.
Size up someone.
Yeah, size of a jawbone, man. So
why don't we have any more of this thing? Where is it at? Is it up like in the
I mean, that's the problem. I mean, they always said, hey, here's a whole dinosaur, and they would have like a tooth. So that's been done a million times. But I think with this, it's a little different. I mean, in this, what I'm showing you guys here is these are like recorded in
history,
in some historical newspapers. Okay. Yeah. Old newspapers that actually had people who reported these sightings and saw these things carried away. So, and what's weird is like this 12-foot skeleton said the soldiers, this is an interesting story. The soldiers went and consulted with some local tribes of Indians who were going into a trance and exclaimed they were geographically displaced Alagui Indians from the Ohio Valley area. When the natives began to attach some religious significance to the find, authorities ordered the skeleton and all the artifacts secretly reburied. So that's the other legend that's going on, is that the Smithsonian is doing a cover-up of the giants. And I don't know if I can say that's really what happened. I can say it seems like a lot of the giants that have been found have suddenly been lost, and nobody's been able to say where these have gone, where their skeletons have gone. So it does make you wonder why they would do it. Some people believe it's so it doesn't hinder manifest destiny, because it looks like it messes with, the natural order of things.
Well, we even know history's been taught to us wrong. Like they had Native Americans had societies. They weren't all living in tents. They had buildings. Right. They had like castles with glass windows. They were destroyed, but they did have those things. They weren't out in the woods sleeping under the stars. They had society. They had right. They would fight amongst each other just like neighbors do, but they had a water system. It's not like they were eating buffalo all day. Oh
yeah, it's so true. It's their culture was very rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it just makes you wonder, like, but why would they try to cover up a society of beings or a group of beings that were different?
You talking about the giants or the Native Americans?
Yeah, the giants. Because why would they do this?
Well, because I think it leads down other roads when you.
Yeah, so the Vatican vaults is a tale of where some of it is. I agree with you, Crazy Matt. I mean, I do agree. Some of this is where it leads. It does get of biblical proportions, if you ask me. But I think it's not just biblical, but there's a lot of things tied in with it. And yes, Rich, it'll give credit to certain ways of thinking. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It destroys current and modern teachings, not only of like the local churches, but polite society, people feeling safe, people feeling like they're in control. They'll start going for certain sources for info and truth. That's real. Yep. But we are now anyway. Everybody's going to certain sources now.
You got to think of this too. No one, even our forefathers that made the Constitution and were geniuses. I can't say no one. Latessa said in 1920 you'd be able to send a picture in a second from America to Europe.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he did understand it, but still no one saw how the internet would change
Right.
society. And
Exactly.
so
That's exactly right. Yeah.
it's there's really
Um,
not like hidden knowledge anymore. It's out there.
so
It's just whether you believe stuff
let's
or not.
go to number one. Yeah, let's just cover number one real quick here. Number one was West Hickory, Pennsylvania, in 1870. They found an
18
18-foot
feet.
skeleton.
18.
Think of 18 feet, man. That is three of me stacked up. Like, I'm 5'11". Okay, so I'm the better part of 6 foot. So when I think of
Honestly,
three of me stacked
their
up
heads
high,
hitting the roof of a 2-floor house, right? Close to
I
it, right?
mean,
A
you're talking
2-story
like 20
house.
feet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, two-story building. I don't know if I'd go with a house, but I would go with a
Well,
two-story building.
houses are
Yes,
smaller than a building.
because you got
Buildings.
probably 8 to 10 feet ceilings. So yeah, if you've got room in there for like this, yeah, the roof and everything in there, it's probably 20 feet. Yes. So you're talking a guy just walking by and he's 2 stories high. That's amazing to think about. I mean, I love to think about it because what an imaginative thing to put in there, right? Um, this is the stuff that gets us going for our comic. The stuff that makes us excited, and it's like there could be evidence of real
Yeah.
things like that in the
And see,
world.
here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
When you start imagining things like this, you only think of the good things. Like you don't realize someone that big might be walking by, hock a loogie, and it goes your way. You're covered. You're
Or just
covered
decides
like
to take a piss
Ghostbusters.
somewhere, man. Like, can you
Hey,
imagine the gallons of piss that would come out of a person that big?
oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, crazy mad. That's true. They won't let anyone dig the Serpent Mound or ground penetrating radar or anything. What people have been doing around the Serpent Mound is they have been trying to like bury crystals on it, like little holes, like that they can dig with their hand or whatever. And it's really, they're getting stopped by that. People are really trying to keep it intact. I think that's a good thing. I mean, it is a
Especially
historical
if it's a
place.
burial ground. Like
Yeah, it is a sacred place to
leave
people,
burial
to
grounds
some
alone.
people. And I think it should be kept that way. I don't think people should be trying to dig in it and stuff like that. I just think that it's kind of a shame that places like this will probably never know the full truth,
I think we will, with maybe not as we're alive, but technology is going to get through where you can do like an MRI or
Oh, I mean, it would be
on
great,
everything.
dude. I would love that. But
I would think what you have now with Google, you could have it go through the land,
yeah,
and you'd be able to see temperature of under the earth and everything like that.
yeah. So a big dude for sure. Biblical Shiza numbers 1332. So numbers 1332. So we'll have to look that up. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of biblical reference for giants. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's
We weren't.
all these giant kings. All these
Yeah,
kings were always giants, like in
yeah.
300.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, crazy man. I'd love to see a full study done too, man. I'd love to see what it was like. Because, I mean, maybe it's just some Indians buried there. Some Native Americans are there. But I would love to know a little bit more. It's such a, and I think it's such a strange and disputed thing that
Dude,
I think it needs to be looked into a lot more.
what would you do if some crazy person out there took a
Yes.
car and like had a bomb to explode one of those, and then you find out it's all these white redheaded giants all in these mounds? Like,
Yeah.
what would you start thinking then? You'd be like, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, it'd
Because
be crazy. But
when I first heard about the redheaded giants, the Native Americans, I thought it was like these cave giants. But the more I've read of it, they talk about that it was a society that had an army, and they had like the Native Americans say they had buildings in cities. So it wasn't like these.
Well, the one that's talked about around North America or the United States is the Loveland Cave or Lovelock Cave.
Yeah, that's the most
Yeah,
known
that's the
one.
redheaded giants that fought the Indians, and the Indians smoked, or they actually covered the cave up so the giants couldn't come out, and they set things on fire so they couldn't get out, and they burned them all up inside the cave. And whenever they went in to pull the bodies out, they realized how many big giants were in there. And so that's been definitely a legend for a while now that's been talked about. And some Indian tribes still talk about it.
But then again, that's why I say if you go into it more, there's actually talk. There wasn't just like 3 of them. There was a whole society, like a country.
Yeah.
They said, and they lived in America before Europeans came over. Like
and Redheaded Giants. That's
There's
been,
paintings.
I think, in Roman. There's been some Roman history with Redheaded Giants. I know in the Celtic
we already know if you're a
history
redhead,
they
you
talk
have no
about them.
soul, so it's not a hard thing to think.
Yeah, of course. Scripture talks about army of giants, their king and his lineage. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, people don't know in the Bible, Goliath has brothers that are giants as well. It's not like he's just this dude that's big. He's got a family of giants.
Right. So I want to show you guys some more things. One thing we want to start with.
See, we're already at 56 minutes. Why is it
that's okay.
An hour?
Just share a little bit more, and then we're gonna pull it in here. But I want you guys to see this because I feel like it's definitely something to look at. So this here is megalithic structure. These stones, look how oddly shaped they are. You can see how they curve in these weird corners. They have no like set geometrical way. Like a lot of times when people build with stones, they either stack them and they're all like there's a bunch of gaps and holes in between them because they don't fit perfectly together. But these stones are not natural. Like you can see that a lot of them are so odd shaped.
Well, they all have grooves, like these little grooves on them.
Well, there's grooves there, but they say they're so tight you can't get a piece of paper through it.
Yeah, you can't get anything.
They fit so good.
Yeah, they're perfect.
And, hey, thanks, good stuff. Good
Peace.
to see you, man.
See you next week, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, man. And Crazy Mad says I could go 4 hours on this shit. I know, me too, man. I love it. But just looking at these stones, this tells you a lot. I like that. Well, for one thing, a normal society didn't build this. I mean, who could lift those stones? For one thing, look how this is a kid. So you're talking a man might be this high, but like, where are we at?
Not just height, but width. Like, how are you grabbing?
Yeah. When you go into this, these stones fit so perfectly down and through here. There's no gaps. Like the gaps vary in, like they put calipers on this and they vary by very small amounts. And so they're so accurately cut and fit so perfectly together. How could an ancient civilization do that? I think that's a good question. And that's the thing where I'm like, when you think of a race like the giants who they could put things in line with solstices. They may have helped build things like the pyramids. Because we know that those are also in line with like the rising and setting of suns, the solstices, and then when you think of them,
our holidays today are honestly, our Christmas and Easter have more to do with that than they do biblical anything.
Right.
Jesus.
Well, and when you think in South America, the Mayan temples and things like that line up with the pyramids, the fact that they line up
if you look at that at Google, like not just them, there's like 8 different things that are on the same line around the world. Like,
it's like, how do they do that? How is it so perfectly lined up?
Yeah, it's perfect.
And these stones look like, like when you mash a marshmallow together, they mash and they get gapped in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's
know
like,
what you mean. Yeah,
that's what it's like. It's like
there's like they're hot and just smush them.
Yeah,
together.
like they could mash these stones down like that to become perfectly fitted and shaped to have no gaps in them whatsoever. How does that happen, man? Like that is, to me, that is amazing.
Especially
here,
when we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be the most technologically
advanced. Yep.
And we can't do this. We
No.
can't do this. We can't
No,
even
we don't
lift-
even do this with bricks. I mean, when you put bricks together, you can't even get them to gap that good.
Dude,
you
we
know?
probably can't even destroy this structure if we wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, look at these odd shapes. Just look at them and tell me tell me what you think. I mean, this stuff right here to me is what piques my interest, Yeah, I agree. Ancient civilization was way more advanced than given credit for. And oh wow,
Every
what
one
Jim
of them.
says. That bottom left corner boulder weighs approximately 8,400 pounds by my calculation. I'd love to know how you came up with the calculation, Jim, but damn. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. We can't destroy this. Like, let alone make it.
Yeah.
Like,
to me, these are the things
bombs?
that get our imagination going. And one of the things that this gets into their ads, but when you think of our story, and we are going to have giants in our story. We've talked about this before. This is the kind of stuff that makes us run wild, makes our imagination go crazy, and helps us to build our story. So I wanted to give a little tie-in as to why we go into this. We don't just go into this for random stuff. I mean, yeah, it's interesting, but
we're making a world mythology, and we're going to make all of this make sense. You will have
if you
no
think
more
about
questions after you read the 100th comic of Ballad of Celestials.
Wow, no more questions.
Will be answered. No more questions.
If sandstone to limestone is about 150 to 175 pounds per square feet. So okay, so that was your figure.
Yeah, my dad is right.
Josephus wrote that giants were a constant opinion of antiquity. Wow. And Josephus was one of the people that they looked to prove that Jesus was a real person. He was one of the, what do you call him? One of the guys who wrote the history of the world.
Times magazine. He was part of Times magazine.
No, he wasn't. Josephus is old, man. He was one of the watchers of the earth, right? Like he watched and wrote down stuff. What are you talking about?
Derek, I was being funny. I don't know why.
Your joke don't hit, man. I can't follow you new kids. You just don't make no good jokes no more.
That's what he was doing, though. He was reporting on the
cubic feet. Okay.
The interesting thing, Josephus, I remember reading one thing is he said a lot of the Christians survived the sacking of Rome because one of Christ's things about the second coming was run to the mountains. So a lot of them, when they saw that coming, actually left the city. When a lot of people actually died in there. Like when Rome fell, it's pretty. If they ever made a movie, it's almost like Saving Private Ryan. It's pretty bad.
Crazy. Yeah, it is.
It's
the Giants were a product of dickheads from space. I don't know if I can believe from space, but from somewhere. That's for sure.
Are angels and demons from space?
Maybe. Hey, Papa Murphy, Jim.
So we got Mama and Papa. Dude, I'm so nervous about Thanksgiving now because my mom is gonna kill me.
She's gonna kick your ass. I love it. I love when you're in trouble. I love when you're in trouble.
My mom's good at yelling, but she's really good at making me feel guilty. So it's gonna.
Oh damn, dude! Now you're throwing out more shit. See, more family drama. Why do we got to do this? It is Thanksgiving, ain't it?
My mom sucks.
She is gonna go full belt on your ass, man. She's gonna get it out, crack your ass hard, and I hope she does, man. I will laugh my ass off.
The funny thing, as a kid, I was more afraid of my mom than my dad.
Oh, I can't wait to hear stories. So, Rich says they already came down and fucked with the earth and set up shop long before the giants sprouted. That's interesting theories, man. A lot of people believe the alien thing. I don't know if I fully believe the alien thing. Don't know if I'm on that bandwagon.
Well, you know what? It came from the Sumerians were the big ones that, because the Anakia are a little bit different than what other people have about the gods coming down. So that's
right. So Jim is curious. I'm glad we piqued Jim's curiosity. I wonder if those stones are part of a dam. That's the only reason I could see them needing to be so airtight if just insulation, they could use sod.
Oh, it's not a building. It's not a wall. For like
It's a wall.
castle?
It is a wall.
It's just a
And
plain
I don't
wall
know
by
if it's
itself?
for a dam. I don't know. It's in Peru, man. I don't know if it's for a dam or not, but I know
Oh, I
that
thought
it's
it was
built.
like a complex like Rome, isn't it? Like, can't you walk around it and there's other walls like it was buildings?
Well, this is in Peru, man. It's not in, Peru's South America.
No, I know, but they had
What are you talking about?
societies there that
Oh, yeah.
had structures
Yeah.
that are tall, like
Yep.
the Roman structures that still stand. I think I
Yes.
could be totally wrong, but that's what I'm going to say. I thought this was more than just one wall. Yeah, it is.
Well,
There's
it
more than
is.
one wall. It's
It is.
corners
It's
and-
just that they don't really tell you like what the whole structure is. You
I
can
always
see
thought
that
it
it's
was like a
part of
castle.
like a fort.
Yeah, a
and
fort,
this
a
right here,
castle.
you can see the top. So it is part of like a fort.
But that is interesting that Jim brings that up because
What
like you
happened to
would
Murph's
think
body?
of,
I love it.
especially if they understood energy and what dams could do.
Yes. Bring the belt, Barb. Just bring it and snap it. Snap it every time he gives you feedback. Snap that belt at him. He'll go right back into shape.
Everything just froze for me.
Did
freeze
it?
for you, or was it just on my end?
I think it was on your end. I didn't freeze, but I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, man. So really, I'm glad you guys got involved in the chat on this. This was great. We're going to keep doing segments like this periodically. You're freezing up on me, Murph. I hope we're not all frozen. You all right? Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. All right. Well, it looks like it's just me for right now, but Murph froze up on us. But right now we're going to be doing this kind of segment from time to time. Hey, there you are.
Get kicked out, or did I get kicked out?
I took you out for a minute until you unfroze.
Okay.
So
what I was going to say, we won't talk
go
about
ahead, man.
An hour. Look at the rocks that they cut.
Smiling Bandito. Glad to have you, man.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Derek? The rocks.
Say it again.
The rocks they cut to bring to the pyramids and things like that. If you look at
going
the
out
cuts,
on me, man.
What?
Yeah,
it's because
you're going quiet. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. Stars. I don't know if it's you or me, because you're not moving on my end. But that doesn't mean.
But right now we're gonna.
Oh. Am I moving? Are you?
Hey guys,
what is going on?
How's it going? I can't hear you
I look
guys
like
yet.
an idiot.
Hold on.
I look like I was dancing to try to see.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
I
now?
can hear you.
Woo!
Again, I have the YouTube on mute, so I don't know if they can hear us. I look like an idiot. I look like I was dancing to try to see. Hey, it's like Comicsgate.
I'm getting stuck in the loop. Now I figured out what he did, man. That's fantastic. So this camera's terrible. But hey, guys, I'm really sorry. My phone just friggin' died on me, so my second camera's
behind
gone.
us live. So I'm seeing stuff that I already did.
Yeah, he said now Derek's frozen. Look, we gotta have some kind of train wreck on Murph and Dirk, man. It happens every week, so it's all good.
So at least we didn't hit 2 hours.
Yeah, but listen. So before we get off here, I wanted to say something real quick, and I know you had a point too, but we're going to keep doing segments like this. It may not be about giants next time. It may be about something else or some other kind of mythology and legend. But it's something that's going to recur on the show about, I don't know, every couple months or so. Just like we're going to bring on Kemosabe, every now and then to come in the show, talk with us, and talk to us about our favorite characters. So we're going to get a little nerdy. At other times, we're going to talk about music. So I think we're going to keep doing this back and forth. Murph, you're out again, man. But I hope you guys are able to hear me right now. Yes, Kevin, we see you. I hope you guys are able to see. Yeah, for some reason we're having some technical problems right now. Let's see if taking him out and popping him back in will help. Anyway, I'm no Bible thumper, but I find theology to be interesting, like the first comic book script or some shit. Yeah, man, I agree. I think it's very interesting. You can go for days, looking into this stuff, and I mean, scholars go on and on forever for it, and it's just something to be chewed upon, no matter if you believe it or not. It's something to look at. Damn. I'm really sorry about all this crap going on. Yeah, is this an alien encounter? This was cool and a break from the norm. Thank you, Rich. I really appreciate that, man. I really do. And then, as long as only one of you freeze at a time, we can hear you, Derek. Shit. I hope I wasn't saying something stupid. If I had a show, I'd bring Chemo on every episode. I know, man. Like, he's great to have on. Love that guy. He's so fun and so good. He's so knowledgeable about what we like to talk about, too. And it's just great to have him on there. So, Murph says I know how Mo feels now, which is fantastic. Crazy Mad would be good when you didn't want to talk. Would be good when you didn't want to talk. Laugh out loud. A lot we don't know. No, I was just saying that you weren't frozen just now. Okay, cool. So, yeah, man. I mean, we lost Murph. I don't know what's going on with him. He must not have any internet right now, but that's okay. We've gone over a little bit of time. I don't want to go too deep because we've been going almost 2 hours, almost every show for the last couple shows. But we thank you for joining in. It was a very good discussion tonight. We're going to do this more often, so please jump in and jump into this chat because it gets our brains turning, gets our imagination rolling, and it fuels us for our comic book. Definitely helps us to, get some visuals and everything. So, yeah, man. Okay, so yeah, Murph says his Wi-Fi's out. So he must have lost Wi-Fi altogether. Mine goes in and out, but it don't make me do that. My phone will shut off or something, but that's why I have a second camera. Anyway, guys, we thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of the chat. I've had this cord in front of my face for the last 5 minutes, but we just thank you so much for joining in. We will see you next week, same time, at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We just want to wish the best to all of you. We thank you so much and enjoy our time with you guys. And so we hope that you enjoy your time with your families or wherever you may be. Find something to be thankful for and enjoy it. And we will see you soon. Thanks, everybody. See ya.